Hi everyone and welcome to your 45-minute Wake Up Well class. So for this morning's class we are really going to be looking at the breath and the prana and how we let go through our movement. So working with fluid movement and allowing the body to kind of trust in itself as we move, as we go through the movements, having no kind of preconceptions about how the asana or the physical practice is going to look, and yeah, moving fluidly. So I hope you're going to enjoy the class. When we are ready, I encourage you to come down and find a comfortable seated position. So I think kneeling for today is probably best, but we'll just take a second to ground. So if you want to ground cross-legged, obviously feel welcome to. Maybe you'd like to take a block under the seat, so you can do that now. And then when you're here, I just ask you to close the eyes and drop the chin down. Just take the hand, one hand onto heart center, and then take the other on top. Starting to breathe into that heart space. Feeling the inhales and the exhales as the diaphragm expands. And just see if with this breath you can inhale all the way into the belly. Maybe taking whichever hand is on top down to the belly. Just noticing as you inhale if that breath is reaching all the way down. Inhaling and exhaling. Finding that length, sitting tall. Staying with the breath. Feeling that prana moving through you. Taking one more big inhale. And then exhale, release out through the mouth. Let it all go. Opening out through the eyes, releasing the hands. Taking your gaze forwards if you drop the chin. Taking hands together, finding an interlace and just pushing up, finding that stretch. Taking the gaze to the fingertips and then releasing down. And we're going to work through a moving meditation to start off the class. And we're going to take 3 or 4 rounds. So coming round onto your mats. If you were in cross-legged, untucking those legs and just coming back to that kneeling position here. Taking a gaze forwards, and you might like on this round to keep your eyes open to watch what I'm doing for the first round, and then for the second one I encourage you to really close your eyes. It's quite a simple movement and I will guide you through as we go. It's just staying in tune with the breath. As we inhale, we sweep those arms up, find the palms together, gaze to the hands. Exhale, we stretch over to the right. Inhale through center. Exhale, stretch over to the left. Inhale through center. Exhale, bring the hands down. Inhale, this time taking hands together, coming up to a high kneeling position. Exhale, cascade down, hands come behind you, forehead comes to the mat. Inhale, we simply lift up. So it's a really simple movement. So this time, seeing if you can close the eyes and just trust in the intuition of your body. Listen to the body and follow my voice. Inhale, we take the arms up, palms together. Exhale, we stretch over to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, stretch over to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, hands come down. Inhale, sweep everything up, high kneeling, palms come together. Breathe here. Exhale, cascade the arms, take them behind you, forehead to the mat, child's pose. Inhale, come up. Round 2. Inhaling, palms come together. Exhale over to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale over to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, hands come down. Inhale, lift up, find high kneeling, palms together. Exhale, take hands behind you, forehead to the mat, child's pose, ground here. Inhale, lifting back up. Last round. Inhale, take hands together. Exhale, stretch over to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, stretch over to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, bring the hands down. Inhale, come up, high kneeling position, hands together. Exhale, flow the arms down, forehead to the mat, connect to the earth. Inhaling, coming up, staying with that breath here. Taking a second, rolling back through the shoulders and forwards, keeping those eyes closed for just a second longer. From here, just gently fluttering open those eyes and taking those hands in front. We're going to come through a toe stretch here, so just lifting up through the hips, tucking under those toes and seeing if you can just sit back slightly. So either you'll stay here taking some of that weight through the hands, or you'll just push up and you'll be able to sit back taking that weight down onto the heels. Either variation that you're in, just seeing if you can sit tall. Breathing here, we're going to stay here for around 30 seconds and it is quite a deep stretch. So if you haven't got the hands down, you feel that midway through you'd like to take them down, by all means please do. Feeling through that stretch, noticing how it feels. It's not often that we stretch out through the back of the feet. Staying with the breath here. Just a couple more seconds left. Gently rocking forwards, untucking those toes, coming back to sit down on the heels. And this time we're going to open up through the tops of the feet. So sitting here, we're just going to see if we can lift the knees so that we're taking that weight into the tops of the feet. So you might like to take the knees wide, you might like to take them together. And maybe bring hands to heart center, or again, if this is uncomfortable, you can take more weight through the hands here, through the fingertips behind you maybe. But again, just holding, be here for around 30 seconds. Maybe if you're finding it difficult to keep that focus, shutting down the eyes, staying with the breath. One more big inhale. Exhale, take the hands down. Slowly, slowly roll yourself forwards, moving mindfully. We don't want to move quickly here. Walking the hands out in front, coming to find tabletop, so shoulders stacked above wrists. Taking the knees slightly further apart, hips stacked above knees. And just tap out through the feet to get started, gently tapping out. And then I encourage you here to be playful with your movement. So our traditional cat-cow, we drop the belly, lift the chest on an inhale, lift the head on an exhale, we round through that back, drop the head. So you've got the option here to continue working through that traditional cat-cow if that's where you're at. But if you know that your body is calling out for something different to wake you up, moving through that spine, feel free to be playful. Maybe you want to move in circles. Maybe you would like to pad out through the hands, taking the fingers to the sides. Maybe taking the fingers towards you and gently stretching out through those forearms. Whatever it is, listen to the body. Call and response, ask what that body needs and then answer through your movement. Keeping with that breath as you move. Opening through that chest maybe. Turning around through that neck. Just trying not to focus too much on how it looks. Don't worry if it looks silly. Breathing. Coming back through neutral. Inhaling here. And releasing it all out through the mouth. We're going to tuck under those toes. Fly the hips up and back. Find your downward facing dog. Once again, this is our first downward dog of the practice, maybe your first downward dog of the day. So just take any movement that you might need, pedaling out through those feet. Maybe you'd even like to drop the elbows. Staying with that breath. Maybe today the body is calling out for stillness. And feeling into that stillness, checking in with the body. And always an option today throughout our down dogs to take a child's pose. Staying with that breath. And we're going to take a tightrope walk into the hands. So when you're ready, just taking baby steps with the feet. Walking through the center of your mat. See how small you can make them, teeny tiny. Eventually the knees are going to want to bend. Taking the feet behind the wrists so the feet are hip distance apart. And just allowing the weight to drop into the feet. Start to take it out of the hands here. You can have a bend in the knees here in our Uttanasana. No need to have a straight leg. Just finding a gentle sway from side to side. Maybe taking hands together. Swaying. On an inhale, slowly rolling up. Vertebrae by vertebrae. Letting the hands hang down. Lovely. Inhale, come up, roll the shoulders. Standing in our Tadasana, hands down by the sides. Shoulders relaxed down, gazes forwards. Inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, find a halfway lift, hands come to the shins or the knees. Exhale, plant the hands down, step the feet back, dropping down through the knees, untucking the toes, lowering the chest. Inhaling, lifting the chest and the head, finding baby cobra, maybe those hands come off. Exhale, push down through the hands, tuck under the toes and push back to your down dog. Starting to work through our sequence here. So we inhale, sweep that right leg up to the sky. Exhale, draw it forwards to the front of the mat, ground down through that back foot. Inhale, sweep the arms up, find your warrior one. Hips are forward, hands are reaching long, fingertips reaching. Inhale here. And exhale. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale, we open out through the hips. Right hand comes in front, left hand comes behind. Find our warrior two. So our foot comes out slightly, so the long edge of our foot parallel to the short edge of the mat. Hips are facing to the side, gaze is forwards over the hands. Inhale here. And exhale, keeping that bend in the front knee. Inhale. Exhale, flip that right palm up. And then inhale, take the right arm up and over. Left hand maybe rests on the back leg. We don't want to put too much weight there. Gaze to the fingertips, reverse warrior. Staying with the breath here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, fly those hands down, frame the foot, step back and work through your vinyasa, either going through knees and chest like we just did before, or inhaling up dog or cobra, coming through your chaturanga. Exhale, tuck under the toes, fly those hips up and back, down dog. When we're ready, inhaling, sweeping that left foot up to the sky, coming through the same sequence on the other side. Exhale, draw it forwards between the feet, ground through that back foot on exhale, and inhale, bring the arms up, hips are forward, finding that warrior one, nice bend in the front knee. Lifting those hands up towards the sky, maybe taking the drishti towards the hands here. Traditionally we take it forwards. Maybe just looking up, feeling into that energy, reaching taller. Inhale. Exhale, open through the hips. Left hand comes in front, right hand comes behind, back foot steps out slightly. Breathing here. Keeping that bend. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling. Exhale, flip over left hand. Inhale, sweep left arm up and over. Right hand maybe rests on the back leg. Taking gaze to the fingers, reverse warrior. Inhale here. And exhale. Inhale, sweep everything round, cartwheel the hands, frame the foot. Step the foot back, work through your vinyasa, knees and chest or chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or baby cobra. Exhale, tuck under those toes, fly the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Everybody dropping through the knees here. Untucking those toes, taking the forehead down to the mat, taking a child's pose. Either narrow leg or if you'd like to take wide leg, feel free. Your practice today, so just taking the time to listen to the body. Staying with that breath here. Inhale, rising up through the hips, tucking under those toes again, coming back to your down dog. On an inhale, sweeping right leg up to the sky. Exhale, draw it forwards, ground through the back foot. Inhale, sweep the arms up, find your warrior one. Inhale here. Exhale, open out, find that warrior two. Gaze over the right hand. Flip the right palm up on the exhale. Inhale, right arm comes up and over. Find that reverse warrior. Gaze to those fingertips. Inhale here. Exhale, take right elbow to the right knee. Sweep left arm over. Gaze to those fingertips. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, fly it back, find that warrior two again, gaze over the right fingertips. Exhale, take both hands over, frame the foot, step it back, work through your vinyasa. Inhaling up, exhaling, tuck under toes, coming to find your down dog. Working through the other side now, inhale, left leg sweeps up. Exhale, draw it forwards, plant it down, ground through the back foot. Inhale, take the arms up, find your warrior one. Exhale, open out through the hips, left hand comes in front, find your warrior two. Gazing out over that left hand, hips are to the side. Inhale. On an exhale, flip that left palm up. Inhale, take the arm up and over, find your reverse warrior, Gazing to the fingertips, staying with that breath here. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling Exhale, take left elbow to left knee, right arm flies up and over. Gaze to the fingertips, extended side angle. Staying with that breath, trying not to put too much weight through that hand and the front knee. Inhale. Exhale, fly the hands round, cartwheel them down. Step back, come through your vinyasa. Inhaling up dog or baby cobra. Exhale, tuck under those toes, fly it back to your down dog. Brilliant. Taking a breath here, checking in with the body. Breathing in and out through that nose. Little challenge here. On an inhale, we push forwards, come up to high plank. You can either come down through your chaturanga, a little bit of a challenge, or drop down through the knees and the chest. Either way, lowering down onto the belly, releasing the feet, taking the hands out in front and just lowering the head down onto the hands. Breathing here. Staying with that breath. And noticing, just even in these static poses where we're taking a moment to be still, feeling that energy moving through the body. Feeling the prana through the belly and the diaphragm as you breathe. Keeping with that breath. Surrendering to that breath here. On an inhale, pushing up through those hands. And taking the hips back, finding a child's pose again. Taking that forehead down onto the mat. Reaching those fingertips out long. Feeling into that prana, that inner strength that we all have inside us. On an inhale, slowly rising the body up, maybe just dragging those hands towards you slowly as you lift through the chest. When you reach the top, spinning those legs around. And taking them wide. Taking the legs nice and wide here. Into a straddle position. Flexing through those feet. Taking the hands down. So you want to keep everything active here through these seated postures. Glutes active, legs active. As we inhale, lifting up, taking the hands together, finding that length. And exhale, instead of folding forwards, just bring the hands down through heart center. And then take them down onto the mat in front of you. And I encourage you here to just slowly walk those fingers forwards. Just going as far as you can go, keeping that back as straight as possible. So it might be that you can get the forearms down, but I don't want you to walk too far forwards here. So the aim here is to keep that back from curving. So you could probably walk a lot further forwards, but just keep that back nice and straight. Trying to keep the head in line with the back as well, no dropping it down, so the gaze is probably out in front slightly, and keeping flex through those feet. Breathing here in and out. Maybe closing down the eyes, just feeling into those sensations through the legs, through the glutes. On an inhale, slowly walking those hands back in. As you walk the hands back in, lifting up, back. through the chest, sitting up tall. And we're going to take a twist here from our wide leg. From our wide leg pose. So normally when we take a twist, we've got the legs together. So I ask you here to have no preconceptions about how it's going to look, about how deep you're going to get into the twist. Taking that right hand behind you. Inhale, take that left hand to the right knee. Breathe, find length. Exhale, twist the body. And like I said, you're not going to get as deep a twist here as if the legs were together. So just finding that element of contentness with where we are. Maybe you would like to take the gaze slightly behind you. Staying in with that breath. Breathing to find that length. On the inhale, exhale to twist that little bit deeper. Breathing in and out. One more inhale. Exhale, come back round through center. Take both hands over the left leg and just find that slight counter twist, so pushing through. Coming back through center. Taking left hand behind you. Inhale, take right hand to left knee. Finding the length. Exhale, find that slight twist. Deepening with each breath. Maybe that gaze can come slightly further behind you than the twist can. Keeping those legs switched on, those feet active. Staying with the breath. Inhale. And exhale, walk it back round, frame over the right leg. Taking that counter twist over to the right hand side. And then coming back up. We're going to take a stretch over to each side. So we've got options here. Our first option is to inhale, sweep that right arm up. Just stretch it over towards those left toes. You might reach the left toes here. If you feel like you're already quite deep into this stretch, you can take the right leg in. Take left wrist around the right ankle, inhale, right arm up, and then take the stretch. And this will just allow you to get a little bit deeper, maybe to bring that head down towards the leg. But wherever you are, maybe your hand is still up here and you've got the leg out. Just keeping with that breath. Really opening out through the right side body here. Staying with that breath, inhaling and exhaling. Knowing that it's quite normal for the mind to wander here. Staying with that breath. On an inhale, slowly, slowly rising up. You've got that right leg in, just taking it out. Either finding the variation without the leg or bringing that left leg in now if that's what you'd like to do. Taking right hand around that left ankle. Everyone inhaling, taking the left arm up. Exhale, taking it down towards those toes. So like I said, you might be here. But we really want to try and open out through the chest here. Take that gaze up to the sky. You might be taking hold of the foot. Just opening out through the chest, taking the gaze up to the left. Breathing here. Inhaling to make space. Exhale, we fold a little deeper. Feeling into the magic of that breath, of that prana. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Next inhale, slowly releasing, coming up. Bringing the legs in, so if you've got the legs both out, Just using the hands to slowly bring them back in. Maybe just bringing the knees into the chest, taking the arms around and dropping the head down. Just taking a moment here to stretch out through the back of the neck. Maybe taking a gentle sway from side to side. And then lifting the head and coming up to seated. So we have a couple of options here for our shoulder stand. We are going to take a restorative version, so lots of different options depending on what you have. So if you just take a second to watch me demonstrate quickly, and then I will give you the time to get into whichever pose suits you. So either taking the back straight down onto the mat and just taking the legs up into the air, taking the hands down by the sides. So this is our first variation. We're going to be here for about 3 minutes. So there's this variation. If you have a block, you can come down the same way. And take your block underneath your seat. So giving you a tiny bit of lift. Other options, if you have a wall, you can take your bum right up against the wall. Take your back down, take your legs up against the wall, and see if you can just shimmy yourself forwards and take the legs up like this. This is one of my favourite variations. It is very restorative. So either here or last variation, I promise, there are lots. You can, once you are lowered down onto your back, you can take your feet into the air. You can take your strap around your feet if you have one. And then once your feet are up in the air, you can wrap the ends of your strap around your wrists and then just allow the hands to hang heavy, allow the arms to hang heavy. And this is one of the nicest variations, I think, because you're allowing everything to drop. The body's not actually doing any work. Those twists that you've taken in your wrists are allowing them to pull through the feet to stretch through the legs. So I will give you a second to come into whichever variation you would like. And then when you're ready, just shutting down the eyes here. Keeping those legs up. And starting to focus back on the breath. So whichever variation you choose, finding your way there now. We're going to be here for 2.5, 3 minutes. Inhaling and exhaling. Noticing how this feels. You might even already be feeling that tiredness through the legs. Just staying with it. Honouring any of those feelings that you're having. Noticing the stretch. If your mind wanders here, just gently bringing it back to that breath. Maybe even finding an inhale and an exhale, and finding a count as you breathe. Maybe inhaling for 4, exhaling for 4. Keeping with that breath. Checking in again, noticing how those legs are feeling. Just around another 30 seconds here. wherever you are, slowly drawing those knees down, moving away if you're at the wall, removing that block if you've got it underneath you, or removing your strap. And then taking those knees down, out in front of you. I'm going to come to our counter pose for shoulder stand, Matsyasana. So taking those hands, palms down onto the mat. As we inhale, lifting through the hips and the bum, and just taking those hands underneath the bum, so palms are still down, and then lowering down. As we inhale, the goal here is to lift the chest, lift the head, and that weight is going to come onto the lower forearms. So point your toes as you inhale, and lift just the chest here. And then maybe you allow the head to drop back. Maybe the head comes down to the mat. It doesn't need to. Staying with the breath and also engaging through that core, through Uddiyana Bandha, keeping everything switched on here. We don't want to relax anything. Pointing those toes, squeezing the glutes. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhale. Exhale, lower back down. Lift the head first and then lower down through the back. Lifting the hips, releasing those hands. And then working through our supine twist. So drawing those knees into the chest. And just dropping both of them over to the left-hand side. Taking the head over to the right and taking the arms either into a T shape or a cactus. Closing down the eyes as we start to work through these more static holds. As we start to relax down through the body. Maybe you would like to deepen the stretch. If you would like to, I encourage you to take that right ankle and just tuck it underneath the left knee and allow it to fall down. Really important here to keep these shoulders grounded. Hips are lifting through the twist that we're taking, but keep those shoulders down if you can. Shutting down the eyes and just focusing in on that breath again. Once again, if you notice the mind wandering, maybe the need to flick or open the eyes. Just come back to that breath, maybe come back to that count. Letting the body melt down through the movement here. Actively allowing everything to relax. Staying with the breath. On an inhale, if you have that cross, gently untucking, drawing the knees back through center, everyone taking the head back through center, and then dropping the knees over towards the right, and taking the head over towards the left, working through that opposite side. Once again, shutting down the eyes, making sure the shoulders are grounded, and if you would like to deepen, taking that left foot and just placing it underneath the right knee. These supine twists are wonderful for neutralizing out through that spine. Just trying to keep those eyes closed. Around another 30 seconds here. On your next inhale, uncrossing the legs if you have it, taking both knees back to center, drawing them into the chest and just wrapping the arms around, taking the forehead to the knees, giving yourself a big hug. Breathing in and then releasing down. And we're going to come into our Shavasana for today. So I'll give you just a couple of seconds to pop on any layers that you might want, maybe finding a blanket, maybe some socks, getting yourself super cozy. And I encourage you today to come down into a traditional Shavasana, so just lying on your back, taking the legs down, dropping the feet to the sides, taking the hands, palms facing up, and then taking them slightly away from the body, making space for those shoulders, for the neck. And when you arrive here, just shutting down through those eyes and starting to come back to the breath. Drawing that awareness even more inside. Breathing. And today we've really been feeling in to that inner prana, that inner energy, that idea of having this strong force that's inside us, and just surrendering and allowing that to help us and work through our movements. And I read some words yesterday that really resonated with that idea of fearlessness, of taking on your challenges. And I think every time we come to the mat and we sit down, we've already taken on the biggest challenge of the day, just to allow ourselves to have that time to focus on ourselves. So the words that I read were by Christopher Luke, and they read, "Come to the edge, we might fall. Come to the edge, it's too high. Come to the edge." And they came, and he pushed, and they flew. So just thinking about those words, and knowing that when we take our energy and we use it in good ways, we have that capability to fly, to push ourselves that bit more. I will give you just a minute of silence here. So closing down, keeping those eyes closed. And feeling into that breath, and I will bring you back in a minute. On your next inhale, maybe taking one hand to heart center, just taking the other on top, the same way we did at the start of the practice. Feeling into that heartbeat, that prana, that energy. Inhaling And exhaling. As we inhale, feeling that energy work through the body all the way from the crown of the head to the tips of the toes, nourishing every single part. And as we exhale, we allow ourselves to let go of anything that isn't serving us. So I invite you here to stay with that breath. If you would like to stay with this quiet, this peace a little bit longer, you'd like to take a longer Shavasana, I allow you to stay here now. If you would like to finish with me, gently on that inhale coming up, finding a comfortable seated position, taking your time. When you get here, taking one more big inhale. Exhale, allow yourself to flutter open those eyes gently. And just say a big thank you to yourself for practicing today.